Healing Horizons with your host Saima. Today, we step into the world of autoimmune healing with Sarah Khan, a functional nutritionist with a PhD and a deeply personal journey through Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Sarah has turned her own health challenges into a thriving mission, helping others heal from the inside out. From gut health to blood sugar balance, she empowers both women and men to take back control of their bodies with real, sustainable strategies. So, let's dive into the practical steps that can help anyone struggling with autoimmune symptoms find real relief. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Warmly welcome. It's my pleasure to have you here. So, Sarah, your own battle with Hashimoto's was a catalyst for your work today. I'm really eager to know that what was the biggest mindset shift you had to make when you first started your healing journey?
I think the biggest mindset shift was really knowing that you can shift your health and you can feel better through these lifestyle practices. It was I got really frustrated through the process because you're kind of going from doctor to doctor and they're kind of just telling you you can either take this medication, which I didn't need yet because my levels weren't there yet, or you just feel the way you feel. So the biggest mind shift was really just realizing that you can change and you can feel better.
hmm it's really powerful to hear, how that mindset shift shape not only personal healing but also, the work you are doing now to help others, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, looking back, Sarah, what do you wish you had known sooner in that process?
I think a couple of things. One, knowing that it is possible to feel better and you can implement these dietary and lifestyle changes. Two, I think just, knowing that there is a network of people and there are practitioners who believe in the same things. So there are people you can reach out to and people you can speak to about it.
That's such an honest truth. I sometimes the hardest part isn't the protocol. I think it's shifting how we think about healing itself. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Now, autoimmune disease can feel, overwhelming because the symptoms are so widespread. So, where do you recommend someone begins when they are newly diagnosed?
I definitely recommend. It's different for everyone. It depends on what's kind of driving or what has triggered the autoimmune disease. But one thing I would start with is just cleaning up your diet. So cooking more at home, reducing processed food intake. So, that's like our heavily packaged processed food when you kind of turn the package around and you can't even pronounce half of the ingredients on there. Cooking more at home, incorporating more, having more balanced meals. So making sure you have protein, you have vegetables, you have fat at every meal. So really making that balanced meal. Um, and then just kind of working through things like, addressing your blood sugar, making sure your blood sugar is regulated, which that will also kind of be fixed if you're having balanced meals with, carbs, with your protein and your fiber and your healthy fat. And then also, so autoimmune disease, the whole body's connected. So you kind of have to address everything. The good thing is when you address one thing like blood sugar, it has a positive impact on everything. That means your gut health, your liver health. Definitely addressing your gut health since about 80% of your immune system resides in your gut. So, you know, again, like those fruits and vegetables, fiber is so important for your gut health. Sometimes people, their gut is so disrupted and they have gut dysbiosis, they need to kind of ease into it. So eating more like cooked and easier to digest vegetables, then, incorporating more probiotic and prebiotic fibers, and then slowly you will start to feel better and you'll see those changes.
hmm That's such a great reminder, Sarah, that there really is no universal starting point because everybody and every situation is different. And I love that you brought up balanced meals as a foundation because, when things feel overwhelming and they so often do right after a diagnosis, just focusing on simple, as you said, nourishing habits like that can feel like an anchor.
Yes, definitely.
And I think it really helps people feel like they have some control in a situation that often feels so uncertain.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, like, how important is it to, personalize the approach instead of following one size fits all protocols?
Yeah, it's very important to do a personalized approach because it is different for everyone. So, you might have autoimmune disease and the thing that's driving it is your gut dysbiosis, or someone else might have autoimmune disease and what triggered it was an infection. So it is really important to do a tailored and customized approach because what works for one person is not going to work for another person. Autoimmune disease, any type of immune focused disease, it manifests very differently for everybody, so it is important to get a personalized approach to it.
Exactly. I mean, the power is in the personalization, right? And like as you said, what works for one body may not work for another, and that's completely okay.
Exactly, and I think I find it's sometimes easy for people to get frustrated because they'll be working towards something, and when they don't, they're doing all of these things, and then when they don't see a result, they get frustrated, which makes a lot of sense, but so that's why it's important to do tailored, personalized approach, so it's also sustainable. You're not doing all of these things, maybe half of them are working, and you're just getting frustrated because you're doing all this stuff, but it's not really moving the needle, so that personalized approach is really the way to go.
Absolutely, that makes so much sense, Sarah. Now, like gut health is often at the center of autoimmune recovery. So, can you explain the gut autoimmune connection in simple terms for our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So, your so I just want to start off with saying, just I know gut health and the gut is getting a lot of attention recently, and it's because there's just been new influx and all this research being done. But it's important to realize that every organ within the body, every system is interconnected. So everything is really important. You can't just treat something in isolation. With that being said, it's also important to note that what you do to improve your gut health has a positive impact on everything else. When it comes to gut health and autoimmune disease, the reason there's such a strong connection there is because autoimmune disease is an immune system dysregulation disease. It's when your body attacks its own like its own cells and tissue, because it sees it as not self. So, and then the issue with that is you develop chronic inflammation because your body's just always attacking something that is within the body. Our gut health houses about 80% of our immune system. So when it comes to calming that inflammation response and bringing down that chronic inflammation, gut health plays a pivotal role in that. So that is why it is really important to address gut health when it comes to addressing autoimmune disease or any type of immune dysregulation.
Thank you, first of all, for breaking that down so clearly, Sarah. And I think it's so helpful for people to understand that connection in simple terms because, gut health can sound like such a complex and overwhelming topic.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So, like, are there a few gut friendly habits anyone can adopt right now to support their healing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one, definitely cleaning up your diet, removing, the bad stuff, like stuff that's really high in added sugar, things that are very heavily processed. Two, adding in more fruits and vegetables. Fiber is really what feeds your gut microbiome. So incorporating a diversity of fruits and vegetables. I think it's also important to slowly phase them in. So if you are someone who has a lot of gut issues, it's important to like just not completely do a 180 with your diet, but I follow a Nourish First approach. Just start incorporating more easy digestible fruits and vegetables like carrots, zucchini. Make sure that they're cooked. Soups are great options because they're well cooked. They're in broth, which is really good for your gut. So incorporating more of those in, polyphenols, which are also found in fruits and vegetables. It's indicative of the color. So, brightly colored fruits and vegetables, blueberries, pomegranates, red cabbage, cranberries. That's great to incorporate into your gut health. Another thing is just you can do some supplementation for support. So things like glutamine, which help with the gut lining, aloe, which help calm inflammation in the gut. You could also do also the vitamin D plays an important role in your gut health. So does omega-3 with lowering inflammation. So those are all great ways to start approaching your gut health. Increasing in probiotic foods, which again, if you're someone who has a lot of gut discomfort, gut dysbiosis, you want to slowly phase that in because, but probiotic rich food include kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, yogurt, natto. These are all great options to just slowly start building into your diet. And then you'll see your gut microbiome changes fairly quickly. So you'll see pretty quickly that the shift and how you feel and how your gut feels.
Mm. Yes, those small, consistent changes can be game changers for sure, Sarah. And I feel that it's not always about doing more, it's about doing what really matters.
Yes, exactly.
Now, let's talk about blood sugar. Many people don't realize that how connected it is to autoimmune flares. So, can you share some common blood sugar mistakes people make that maybe, saboting the healing?
Yeah. So, one thing is having your carbs by themselves. So, whenever you eat carbs, you want to make sure that it's paired with protein, fiber, fat. Things like avocado toast. You have avocado on your toast. When you're eating rice, have it with protein and fiber. So that's important. Your body needs carbs, so I don't recommend, going carb free, but always make sure that your carbs are paired with protein, fat, and fiber, and that will lead to balance. The order in which you eat your food also makes a difference. So if you eat fiber first, protein, fat second, then carbs last, you could eat the same meal, but the impact it has on blood sugar is much better if you eat in that order. So, even if you're having like a bowl of pasta, if you have like a big salad first and then have the pasta, that has a positive impact on your blood sugar. Also, helps you eat more vegetables, fruits and vegetables. And you can make a simple salad dressing with extra virgin olive oil and lemon, which gets you that healthy fat. Other things I see is lack of movement or just this thing where you're you're working out, you're doing this really intense 1 hour workout once a day, but you're pretty sedentary the rest of the day. So movement throughout the day is better than one intense 1 hour workout. So just taking a 10 to 15-minute walk post meals has a huge positive impact on your blood sugar.
Mm. That's really an eye-opening point, Sarah. I think, a lot of listeners will surely have those light bulb moments. And hearing you talk about things like, skipping meals or relying too much on carbs, because this is such like common habits, and it really shows that like how even small daily choices can make a big difference in supporting healing and reducing flares, no?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm. So like, how can someone, stabilize blood sugar throughout the day without feeling restricted?
So yeah, just like that 10 to 15-minute walk post meals, getting that fiber in with your carbs, that makes a huge difference. If half your plate is non-starchy vegetables, then that blood sugar impact with your carbs is going to be significantly less.
Yes, and it's like, balance doesn't have to be mean boring, and that's such an like empowering reframe for so many people.
Yeah, absolutely.
hmm Now, like healing, isn't just about food, it's about lifestyle. So, what lifestyle habits do you see making the biggest impact for your clients?
So focusing on movement throughout the day. So, like those 10 to 15-minute walk post meals, just, getting in like a quick 5 to 10 minute workout. Just if you have a job or a lifestyle where you're kind of sitting at a desk all day, just making sure to get up, get some movement throughout the day. Other thing is prioritizing sleep. So making sure, you're going to bed at a reasonable hour, and then you're waking up at the same time. So getting good quality sleep is really important. It just really that's when your body is really restoring, it's recovering. So sleep is crucial for sure. And then in conjunction with sleep, limiting your screen time closer to bedtime. So, when you're about to go to bed 2 hours before bed, start to dim the lights, try to not use any devices like your phone or your laptop. That's really impactful. In the morning, try to get out and get some sun, go out for a quick walk or just go outside for some sun exposure. That helps regulate your circadian rhythm, which really has a profound impact on sleep. The other thing is stress reduction. So, especially when you eat, if your body is in a state of stress, if you're just kind of eating at your desk or stressed out, your body doesn't prioritize digestion. So, deep breathing, meditation, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just taking 5 centered deep breaths before you eat makes a huge impact on your digestion.
Mhm. That's a great perspective, Sarah. That sleep really is the foundation for everything. And I love that you have mentioned that the importance of, reducing screen time before bed. It's such a simple shift, but, one that so many people overlook, especially in this digital age where we are glued to our devices until the last minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. So, like for someone who struggles to wind down at night or, break that habit of using their phone before bed, including me. So, do you have any practical tips or routines that, you'd like to recommend to make that transition easier?
Yeah, I think one thing is you could use blue light blocking glasses. So if you are someone who is like, I need to use my phone, I'd say start with using the blue light blocking glasses. You can also just don't use your phone as an alarm clock. So don't take it into your bedroom. So, get an alarm clock, you can get one fairly cheap and use that instead of your phone. So that way at least your phone is not in your room with you. And then, just try to put your phone away, either just connect it to a charger, put it in a drawer. If it's out of sight, then it's kind of like out of mind. It's easier to kind of disconnect from it.
That's really uh so like if you could give one single piece of advice to anyone in the middle of an autoimmune struggle right now, what would it be?
So the biggest piece of advice is just I would tell them is to one, know it is possible to feel better, to be symptom free. Two would be just to start cooking more at home, being more mindful of what you eat, and then just incorporating more of the good stuff, more fruits and vegetables, more high quality protein, that kind of stuff. And then they'll start to feel better. Incorporating some supplements is always great. Vitamin D, everyone should be taking vitamin D with K. Omega 3 is really good for inflammation. So just start slow, slowly incorporate these things, see how you feel. I like a nourish first approach. So instead of removing or doing a 180 with your diet, just start to add more good things in, more fruits and vegetables with your meals, more healthy fat, that kind of stuff.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, that completely makes sense, Sarah. It's, I, and that was really such a powerful wisdom, that it really points out that healing is possible and it starts with believing that your body wants to heal, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, like, if you could go back and give, your newly diagnosed self one piece of advice, knowing everything you know now, what would it be?
The thing I would say is one, like you can definitely feel better, and then two, to go slow. Like I know it's sometimes you just want to kind of throw everything at the wall because you get excited or you've just been so frustrated living with these symptoms. But going slow and steady really is the best way because this helps you adapt sustainable habits and you don't get exhausted with these like really intense, restrictive regimens. So just going slow and steady, knowing that, you'll just start to feel better as you slowly incorporate these changes is really the best way to go.
That's really a beautiful insight, Zara. I think so many people, will feel comforted by that, especially those just starting out who might feel overwhelmed or unsure where to begin, it's really a powerful reminder that and like healing is really a journey, not a race.
Yes, it really is.
So, are there any common myths or misconceptions about healing autoimmune disease that you wish more people understood?
Yeah, I think so. One thing is that people think that autoimmune disease, you either have it or you don't, and it's something you have to live with forever. There is a lot, you have a lot of power when it comes to managing systems and regulating things. So that is definitely a myth that that I would like people to not know that it's not true. Um, it's also, it comes and goes in phases. You might be doing really well for a couple of years. Maybe you get an infection like COVID and it might trigger something. Not to get so frustrated with it. You can address it, you can work on it, you can go back to feeling better, but just know that there will be some ebbs and flow, and that's okay. You can always just kind of regulate yourself back.
Yes, that's such an important myth to burst, and clearing up this misunderstanding, I mean, can really help people feel less pressure and more empowered to make choices, that actually serve their healing, not what social media or fad advice tells them, right?
Exactly.
And lastly, Sarah, for someone listening who wants to, start making changes tomorrow, what's one small realistic step they can take right away to support their healing journey?
Yeah, again, I think it would just be really just cooking more at home and just getting those balanced meals in. So making sure you have fruits, vegetables, vegetables at every meal, protein, fat, and fiber, and then complex carbs like your sweet potatoes, your plantains, quinoa, beans. Those are great options.
I love that, Sarah. That was such a simple but impactful action, and it really shows that we don't have to overhaul everything at once to start moving the right direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Absolutely. Sarah, this was an enlightening conversation with you. So, listeners, if you're facing with an autoimmune challenge, know that there are answers, there is hope, and there is a path forward. So, take the small, actionable steps and trust the journey. Stay tuned for more healing insights right here on Healing Horizons with your host, Sai.